And we're live!
And we're live!
Oh, we're good. But first...
Yeah, go to it.
He's fucking... This guy.
What?
This guy. Should have bought 2 bottles.
Fucking ass it, man. Is that it? Do it for a living. Not for fun. I'm desperate to get the fucking Scotch out.
Jesus, I was gonna like... I was just gonna keep mine, wait. But... While we're waiting on Mark, let's get the introductions going. Obviously, you know me and Mark. It's the podcast number 3. Today we're going to try something a little bit different.
Yeah, good googly moogly.
Good old Kieran in to talk about mixology and the drinks game and what he's done.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Kieran. I'm definitely by the end of this going to hate the sound of my own voice because that seems to be a thing that everybody likes.
Oh,
Can I get that midget head in?
How did that's over?
Oh shit.
So, I know Kieran through, I met him in work, the hospitality trade. I say pub trade, but that's a bit archaic at this stage.
Yeah.
Working in bars, doing cocktails, doing drinks, and it all went from there. And then Mark obviously has been an acquaintance, and now we're going to get him into a bit more drinking.
Heavy lightweight.
In drinking. So, I guess it's like best you give us like some of your current background and what you've been doing.
Sure. So, as Darren said, we met originally just bartending, pretty much. I guess we could say that.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of didn't really know what I was doing. I dropped out of university. No bartender ends up being a bartender because they want to be a bartender.
Very true.
So yeah, I was just kind of fucking spending time making drinks, and then eventually got quite good at it. Eventually realised that I wanted to do it for a living. Moved up the ranks within the bar that we were working in, and then eventually got the call up to Glasgow doing what I'm doing now, which is more the kind of outside the other side of the bar thing. So that's all training, writing cocktail lists, brand activation, all that kind of stuff really. So it's really good. I still get behind the bar now and again, but I'm happy that I don't do it full time.
Yeah.
Because
it's not fun still.
It's
because I'm back there.
It's dealing with the public and dealing
Us.
with other members of staff who drive you up the wall. But
yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing of we've never shied away from working hard and playing hard, and it's kind of once you get the same
#Shagger.
Yeah, no, once you get the same people in the same frame of mind, and they're like, oh, well, I've done a really hard shift, been really good, blah blah blah, and then straight away you're ready to go out.
Yeah.
But for me, there always has been I think there's people touched on it before with the highs and lows of working in that trade, especially when you're in a really good bar, really good team, and it's really busy. You always want to be around those type of people because you're the same, obviously like-minded, but again, working hard, playing hard, but once you do a good shift, you know you've done a good shift. And again, I think the funniest thing about being in this trade is that 90% of the people I meet, like me, aren't people. I mean, 90% of the fuckers on the other side of the bar, I hate. But I'm in this job that seems to work out, and I seem to go back to all the fucking time.
Yeah, keep your habit when it comes to that shit.
Mark's relationship with hospitality is that he's been the one kicking people out of the bars. Maybe through the bars, but also out of the bars.
#ejection perfection.
Ejection perfection. That's amazing.
That's the next shot, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the next shot.
So obviously, I don't think we really went into our background, but I met Mark through hospitality as well. He was working on the doors.
You met me when I was trying to get set up on Beverage.
Yeah.
Desperately trying.
And we trained together, and then obviously he's done doors because he weighs heavier than me, and he was able to use that weight, and then
90% of the year apart from maybe July, I'm fat. Life is good, man.
what does that feel like?
Mate, never say no to a cheesecake, man. Never. If you do, you're just fucking rude.
I know, right? So I guess, yeah. So the case of how have you evolved, or how has the hospitality or drinks trade evolved since you've been from bartending to what you do now? Because obviously you've travelled a lot as well.
Yeah, I think it's changed massively in quite a few kind of respects. When I started, which was back in 2012, it must be.
Yeah.
It was still fairly modern in the drink scene, but cocktails were still starting to come into fashion. They weren't the kind of behemoth that they are now. People were doing them, but it was just kind of like, we'll throw some juice with some spirit and we'll call it a day.
Pink and bright.
Cranberry juice and vodka, that cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing. Screwdriver, vodka, orange, and perfect. Fuck off. But no, so it was still kind of starting to come up, and people were just kind of sticking to what they normally would order. People would be, like you said, kind of creatures of habit. You get what you get, pint of tennis, or you get your gin and tonic, you get your favourite cocktail.
She's using them with me, his MasterCard then, so he stays
Exactly.
Yeah.
For the last day, please, alright.
Absolutely.
And then, kind of everybody, I guess the age of social media, and that kind of came into affect everything in terms of the fact that people would see these amazing cocktails around the world and they'd be like, well, I want to get that in here. And they will do everything they can to get it, and they learn more about what they're drinking as well. They're not just going in and getting a gin and tonic and a half pint tennis glass with 2 cubes ice.
Yeah.
The gin that they order comes with the specified garnish, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
So that's been a big issue, I think, for everybody. The customer just knows exactly what they want, and they know more than ever, which is great. It means everybody's drinking better.
Yeah.
You look at the market trends for drinking in the UK anyway, and globally kind of factors in as well, but definitely in the UK, people are drinking less, with the most amount of people ever being teetotal.
Wow.
But when they are drinking, they're spending more. So it's that whole idea of premiumisation, and that's why you're seeing less kind of craft beers. You're seeing more.
Just going to pause in
small
your
batch
thought.
gins.
I'm not touching his ass.
He's not the.
It looks like I'm touching his ass. I'm not.
His
I
ass.
can notice that the mic has been shifting.
He's a filthy
So,
animal.
I mean,
That's when the cameras stop rolling.
yeah.
We got guests on here just so that Darren could take advantage of them.
I mean,
Right, Whisky.
I know, right?
He sets it in by being nice and asking them questions and just touches
So there you
them
go.
up.
That's going to work better because I noticed also that it was quite low at that stage. But let's just check. Just pinch your bum one more time.
Oh,
Hey-o!
quiet indeed.
That's it. Anyways, continue.
So there's that. So yeah, people are drinking more premium. There's also, for me in my career, I've moved from a different area where we are just now is quite it's quite local. It's not very metropolitan.
Yeah.
So
It's not Merchant City.
yeah, so less of the big trends, because it's the same with food and stuff as well. But within the drinks industry, trends move around. So I think they say something like London is so many months or years behind New York City.
Right.
Edinburgh is so many months or so behind London, and then Glasgow, and then it just kind of trickles down. That's starting to dissipate a little bit now, whereas everybody's starting to do more of their own thing, which is great, and less of that homogenisation. But Glasgow's definitely got more of an opportunity. So I'm obviously moved up to Glasgow. So the scene is completely different up there to down here.
Absolutely.
The level of cocktails that they're doing there, the level of service, all across the board. So I had to adapt that fairly quickly. And also just the way that people drink up there is different. It's less of a sweet kind of palate. So you have to adapt how you're making drinks, how you're writing cocktail lists and stuff like that as well. So it's been really interesting, to be honest. And like we said as well, the job's kind of let me go travelling around the world, so I get to see the different places and how they make drinks. So I was in
Like that photo with a school bus in America.
so I was in Wisconsin last year.
Wisconsin.
Hey, Wisconsin.
Yeah. That 70s show.
Fargo. Tennessee, which was amazing. And the funny thing is, every time I go to America, you're always like, everything you see on TV, surely it can't be that much of a stereotype. It's exactly like what you see on TV.
It's just filled with ignorant fat people.
It's mental.
I've never been, so I can't say it, but I know you have. You have.
So good.
Yeah,
You were
it's
just
great
saying.
I fit in perfect.
Because you're fat.
Yeah, and I'm just ask anybody, man. A few weeks to get a phone call by, it's fucking. It's ridiculous. Just a cock. Sorry to cut you off.
fun. No, it's fine.
Do you not think though that it's all good and well? I mean, obviously people are more educated, students are more educated,
Of course.
younger people are more
More than
educated,
anyone.
but it's the whole thing of kind of at times feels like it's gone a bit too far.
Yeah, I think I think in every aspect of kind of culture just now, there's a movement and then it gets ripped the piss out of. So you're looking at, just off the top of my head, the most recent thing, the whole kind of sale to straws thing, which I think is great. But then that has been kind of blown out of proportion. Now people are showing how cool they could be by not using straws, and like there's bars in London using pasta instead of straws.
Wow. Oh my god!
It's an Italian's wet dream.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just this whole thing where people are just trying to one up each other. They're not doing it for the actual sake.
Yeah.
Like we want to kind of help the world.
Then it's the whole thing of the straws costing, paper straws cost a fucking fortune as well.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Move the hemp. Hashtag I smoke.
Oh, excuse me. What happened there?
Oh my god.
I do apologise.
You touch his arse and then you butt all
This chair.
Disgusting, man. Fucking
That's not disgusting. It's just why is everyone taking that out of me? But yeah, no, totally. And there's a couple of places up the road here that are just going mad for, I don't know, fucking popcorn, fucking gelatin, cocktail, banana stuff. You're like, for me, it's pretty simple. The whiskey tastes strong, tastes smoky. The beer.
The women don't get it, the whiskey
White
must.
high. Exactly. Nice Jamie Lenman fucking quote there.
Hashtag bring women back.
Yes. But yeah, and then that's it. Simple. I do get the whole fact of you have to cater for it.
Yeah.
I mean, those type of people and whatever. But there's even people that like you always spend all your time. Areas of where we are is a different story compared to Glasgow and everywhere else. But even in those towns, you spend all your time making a certain list. Just people walk in and go, "What that one?" That they've like seen on fucking Sex in the City or
they show you a picture from Instagram of a bar in like Hong Kong. Like, you need this? Like, nope.
Like, you know, watch Casino Royale with the wife. What's that wee cocktail that he does? It's got a bit of lemon in it. Can I get one of them and one of them for the wife too? She's an email me, John.
The list and stuff. So, I mean, how long does it take you to make a list for a certain venue? And obviously it's kind of for the area, but it's also like, what are the factors involved?
So there's a general process that I work towards, and the whole thing takes quite a while. But the actual writing of the drinks list, once you know the venue, once you know the area, is pretty quick. You can write a drinks list within a couple of days. The longest part about that will be costing it all up to make sure we hit the business targets. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But then from that point, we have to link in all the departments and make sure everybody's good to go. So that'll be graphics and marketing. They'll need to get the proof of the drinks list, which will be a Word document. They'll make it look pretty. And then there'll be training in L&D if they need to be involved.
What's L&D?
Learning development. So they will get...
Right, you noobs.
I'm totally newbish to this. This is fucking very interesting.
So they'll get involved, training the staff if they need to be trained, because sometimes they want to do their own training, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So the whole process can take about 6 weeks maximum. I'm thinking quite a lot of that.
That's shorter than I expected.
Quite a lot of that's to do with the printing. Takes at least a week. Graphics and marketing want to work on that for at least a week. There's the proofing process as well. So once they type it all up and make it look nice, they'll send it back to everybody, and we'll spell check it, make sure the prices are right, make sure it looks good. So that can take a while. But the actual writing of a drinks list is pretty straightforward, because you know, initially it was hard because I didn't really know Glasgow, and I especially didn't know the venues that we owned up there. Because we've got between 50 and 60 venues across Scotland.
Jesus.
We've got 25 to 30 in Glasgow.
Quite a few in Edinburgh now, so.
Yes, so Glasgow and Edinburgh are the main ones that we have. So I think we've got mostly Glasgow is like 25 to 30, and then there's about 8 to 10 in Edinburgh. Then there's St Andrews, Dundee, Perth, Aberdeen as well.
It's fucking quite a lot, man.
Big company.
So are you over a specific like region, or are you just bounce where you're told?
Anything to do with bar. So if Aberdeen need training, or if they need to do a drinks list, or so, it's me, my boss, and the director in our team.
Wow.
So it's quite a big job, but it also is good that we can bounce around, and I'm not just stuck in Glasgow. I'm not just stuck in Edinburgh. I'm kind of all over the place, which is great. And the broad scope of what we got as well, it's not just like restaurants and bars and pubs. There's nice restaurants, there's casual restaurants, there's cocktail bars,
There's
So it's multifaceted.
cinemas,
Yeah.
which is really interesting. Hotels.
Cinema's class, the one in Glasgow. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
went to. We saw. Was it Civil War? No,
Was it? What was it?
it was not. It was definitely one. The last Avengers.
Oh, it was Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity War. It was something more. Yeah.
Still
It
haven't
was
seen
class, man. We just went in and got our beers, and then you just walk in the back, and it was like a few different rooms,
Yeah.
and it just opened up into like wild cinema.
Couches at the back as well
Couches,
that you can
man.
book.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Just fucking sitting there with your beers, like
Gang shit.
nice.
That sounds fucking
Fortunately for me, I was
awesome,
like went through like fucking some mad long shifts, so I was like within like halfway through the movie. But
Could you get away with shit like that down here?
You can.
it's licensing.
It's just you could easily do it. You just need to find the right space for it, and somebody needs to do it.
People seem to set
Like-
in ways around here. man.
Yeah, but it's like Donald, our mutual friend and acquaintance Donald, always says that, Joe, what's the place that's down past the bridge? It's closed down. It used to be a nightclub.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's really
Big,
run
huge
down.
place.
It's just as you go
Fucking
into the police
They
station.
used to do it all there as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's like an old theatre. The perfect visual example probably would be, unfortunately, if anybody's seen it, it's the last Transformers movie where Optimus Prime is found. It's like an old theatre like
That's
that.
Raid Man.
Yeah,
memory.
I know, right? But it used to be a nightclub, but it's a couple of levels. But it's one of those ones where you could like go into and open up as this really cool like retro
Yeah,
fucking
cinema
awesome, man.
and just show
It's
like grindhouse
Yeah.
stuff and do like
Oh, yeah.
say your specific like Western movie day stuff like that, but have like really cool beers
that's
and
the
stuff.
best thing about
Yeah.
like.
There's loads of places in
independence.
London that do that. My
Yeah, so
brother
it's
brought
huge
me
in
to
there.
one. I can't remember the name just now, but
Yeah, it's huge down there. Like so, the everyman cinemas are a big thing. Where,
Yeah.
and it's great that there are these non kind of chains like Cineworld and Odeon, which are great. Don't get me wrong, but having these independents, because we do it as well in ours, where you can just kind of do if you want, like you say, you want to do the Grindhouse or something like that, or
Yeah.
you want to do a rerun of whatever.
yeah, just serial
Yeah.
fucking
So you
yeah.
can sit back on a couch.
Just
Missus
chill out,
or
man.
whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a memory, that is unfortunate that way, but if you have a missus and that,
Yes, my missus.
sit with-
Fuck off!
Yes. He's the right
Fucking
height.
keep this place well.
He's the right height.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. At least look after myself in my old age. I
It's the way
mean,
it feels when you get married, don't worry, it's alright.
you can't just strike oil.
Fucking
But
true. See, if you actually put a light down here, you could take some of the shadow off this balding bit.
hey, whoa.
Can't say anything. So you can look at the top of my head, it's
Fucking
a,
flying V. This guy's got, and he's wearing a cap.
it's a multi-coloured
He's wearing his
sort of-
cap.
I've got black, ginger and grey all
I
through
know,
the
right?
top here.
Perfect.
It's fucking
You're like
ridiculous. And a
what
big
do they
red
call- you're like
plum
a
face.
mongrel.
3 minorities.
Big plum face. Shit happens.
But yeah, I mean, there's so much of that with drinking. I now it's the end of my career in that stage, but I do enjoy it. And I do enjoy the whole cocktail making and making it obviously a really nice drink, especially for people. There's a difference. I guess it's with everything though, but a lot of people that now hospitality people, the customers we have, clientele, being general. I was going to say not being general.
This is going to end in tears.
So,
That's
but
good.
being general, you have to spoon feed them
Sure.
everything.
Jesus.
So I can't even quantify the numbers of people that will still walk in to say the venue I'm in right now, and they just don't have the wherewithal to find out where the toilet is. The fucking sign's on the wall. It tells you exactly where it is. But yet I have to tell you every fucking single time you come to that fucking door where you fucking go afterwards. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like, and then all of a sudden, there's no knife and fork in the napkin. What am I going to do? Am I going to eat it with my hand, face plant into the fucking dish, slurp it all up? What? It's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wiping their arse for them.
Yeah.
So when you're serving them, there's a huge level of expectancy, and if you, there's a fine line with the service, and which is why I'm lucky in the place I'm in now, but also in older places. I feel like in the older bars, which is niche now, but I feel like we'll eventually go back to. I was having this conversation with a customer recently, where I think it's because it's going to be the now, say, lack of a better word, hipster thing. To go back into an old bar that you find in the arsehole of nowhere with no sign. Always sunny. I know what's happening in America just now, where you can just say whatever you want and they just pay for it and go, that's fine.
Yeah.
Not that I mean everyone should go into a place and be disrespected, but the fact is that we shouldn't have to be walking around fucking on all fours to give what they expect to be the best service ever, when literally at the end of the day they're coming in to get a drink or to get food. The only thing, the difference from home, is that they're going to a nicer place where they generally don't have to look after their kids to get it.
Yeah. I think to play devil's advocate on that point though, which I totally agree with you, I think there's some absolute cabbages that come into...
They're so much better with the PC words.
He's really good with it. I call them cunts and he calls them cabbages. What's the next shot? Cunts and cabbages. That's the next one.
What's the next C? It's got to be alliteration, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the problem is, well, not the problem is, that the fact of the matter is that's what you get for being in the service industry. The reason
of course.
that we charge that you can get a bottle of beer for a couple of quid in the shop, or you get a case, but you come into one of our venues or whatever, we put a 70% markup on that. That's to do with the fact that obviously we buy it in for cheap, but then we're paying our staff and you're paying for the service, and then so all these things factor
so
in.
many factors, yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately you do have to just deal with these, unless it gets to the point where people are being like verbally abusive or harassing, which just doesn't fly in any situation, especially not in a bar.
That's when my line of work
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to have a really dodgy conversation about why a drunk guy can't get served anymore. It never goes good.
Yeah.
Never. You can't.
Yeah, not the most understanding type.
You can't stay in here. Why? You're too drunk. I haven't had any.
Just don't.
Fucking joking me. You swing everywhere, you mad cunt.
Just don't get caught on video.
Yeah. Whoops. Too late for that.
Just incriminating himself.
But the amount of times you're standing in front of someone and you wish you could just joke
Oh,
them
man.
unconscious, man.
There's so many times I've seen
Please.
the cross from hell, like when you're looking at like your job and bounces on doors, and the stuff, especially when you get race week, race wankers.
Oh yeah.
In their one day fucking suits,
Man.
that they bought from Primark for 12 fucking quid, spend a whole day drinking, they're wearing their tag and their pass like fucking Rambo, coming back, and they're like,
Primarks know where you get the shite ones anymore though. They get their mum to go in and go to Slayers.
That's the light.
Both said it at the same time.
Oh, could you go into Slayers for me? They're doing suits for £65, man. That will definitely impress me, Sherry, because I want to pump up.
We're now entering, what was that movie, Ted?
Yeah.
Where Mark Wahlberg and him
Jamie
go
Lee
through all those
Curtis.
names. But I mean, so let's switch this conversation for a few moments onto, let's give us, because you worked in hospitality, so let's go from your side of it.
It's a different kind of hospitality, to be fair. We never get
That's why I
anybody.
didn't know the words come in there instead of hospitality, but I just couldn't.
We never really get anybody in a good mood, ever. If they come up to the
Hey,
door.
come on! I've been sober and been told I fucking can't stay in a place. I'm like, alright, okay, I'll go home.
Yeah, but you're a wanker. But you're an alright wanker. That's it. You can be a wanker as long as you're alright. But deep down, you're still a wanker.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm the same. I'm a prick, but it's a bit slight difference, I think, I like to think.
Yeah.
But we had a really good team at one point in the door and really did enjoy it, but 90%, I would say, of most doormen are stereotypical the way they are. Probably been bullied a little bit. Probably still bad for their dad.
probably still get their nails clipped by their mum.
Exactly. It's a good chance.
Yeah.
But some of us do care ever so slightly, to be fair. I don't want to seem like a dick, but unfortunately, sometimes the dude just can't get across any other and just just shut the fuck up. You're not coming in.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's like being at the bar closing time going, sorry, we just got last order 15 minutes ago. I do apologise. You're going to have to finish up. And then they try and fucking buy the bar. You go, I'll give you 60 quid for that bottle of vodka.
No.
I mean, that'd be great, but I can't.
No.
But just do it anyways.
Most clubs and pubs in general, see the relationship between the door staff and bar staff has to be super tight, man. So yeah, you don't want somebody for your bar staff telling you that someone has to go, and then you look at them and you think this guy actually seems alright.
Yeah.
Now I've got a fight with fucking some 6'6" rugby player, and I'm a small fat specky guy that's trying to put him out. It's a lot more hassle sometimes than it's worth. But if you've got a good team who's all coherent together, it's like if the bar staff says he has to go, then you have to go, unfortunately, because you have been a dick. Yeah. But it's integral, man. But I wouldn't recommend anybody really get into the door trade. To be honest,
just again, it's like the rest of us. It's just like necessity. If you need to do it, it's just the way
so much, man. It really has changed.
I think what you're saying about also with being on the door and being with in teams, it's that's essential though for hospitality, especially when you're in smaller venues. Bigger venues, you've got obviously a lot of security with radios and stuff, but you still need to have effective, like-minded teams. I know from when we started together, and I've worked in a lot more experience working in, I guess, just bars in general. More experience or knowledge like Kieran would have, and other people that we know drink and stuff, because I just left that behind. But when you meet someone, you work with someone, you click like that, and then there's countless days we walked into where we worked, and bang, if it was bad, it was good, and then it was great, because the amount of it's kind of just pure backup where one person knows exactly what to do. They take their section, that you take your section, you take that section, and it's always working in tandem. Yeah. Just a cog in the machine. It keeps going, it's going. You always get your kind of flashy, more ego folk, because you always get egos in bartending. But you just still have that base of that team, that it's the spine of everything, and it's the same. Obviously, on the door, it's the same, because you need to know the people you can trust and come in with, and you need to know that they are going to take their area seriously, and they're going to, more so for you, protect you if you need it, and vice versa. But I know, like you're saying, with bar and door, I think I've always had certainly a good relationship with one or two of those people, because then you just have that look where right, and they come over, he's fucking out, that's it. You need to have that awareness. That's the big thing in everything, the walks of life. We talk about it in martial arts. It's like the whole situational awareness of knowing what's happening, what's going on in that space of time, so you can switch and turn to that.
It takes 2 seconds to take a look and scan about everywhere. What's actually going on rather than what you perceive to be.
I think that's the whole point as well. Like, obviously, coming from the bar side of things, and probably in most situations, but the whole aspect of the team is not like the combined knowledge or experience that you guys have got. It's about that situation where you can just walk in and know who you're working with, and everything's just going to go to plan, and when it doesn't go to plan and shit starts to hit the fan, it's going to be handled without a word said.
Exactly.
Edgewise, it just gets done.
Right.
The last team I
worked for,
that's
probably the best example I was trying to get.
The last team I worked for was fucking probably one of the best I have worked for, to be fair. We had a lot of different people who brought up everything different to the table. There wasn't really much in the middle of a weak link. I don't think. Behind the bar where I was working was still okay. To be honest, the bar staff was still pretty good. We had a lot of fun with the bar staff, but we had the 2 years at the front door who were not opposite personalities, but I'm guilty of having quite a strong temper sometimes. So in situations in the past, especially, I haven't dealt with them sort of as effectively as I'd like to. But I always had someone on the door with me who was a lot calmer.
Sure.
Who could sort of direct me to a better situation if I was going too much, so you need to step back or whatever. Of course. And then we had one guy.
Sorry, everybody else in the bar and me.
You're a cheap to slide anybody, man. You're a fucking live wire when you kick off. You're 4'3".
I am not 4'3".
And you always try and go for the biggest person about you.
I have never done that in my life.
Napoleon.
So fuck off.
You gotta have a good team, man. We had a great team. We worked a lot of good personalities that all gelled together. And the best thing is we're all friends, man. See, after a hard weekend, see the Sunday afternoon or something, we used to all meet up, go karting, and hold hands while we pee and stuff like that. Just to make sure that we're together all the time.
Yeah, totally.
But there's gotta be that trust. But there's also, it comes down to, I guess, I think one of the things of you need, for even most of your side, but also as well, and people have realised, you need to have that thick skin.
Yeah.
But you also need to have that, I want to say man management skills. That might be maybe wrong to say, because we weren't like managing anyone. But we all had our positions, and some are higher than others, but it was that level playing field of if you got pissed off, or I was pissed off, or say someone else was, you have that wit capacity to deal with it and recognize it, and then get someone else involved to help out in that scenario or whatever, and just let it run the course.
Yeah, of course.
And then, because if we're all doing that and we're in the best place we could possibly be, then obviously what it ultimately comes down to, for all of us in hospitality at that stage, is the customer experience. And then if we're all on our game and getting that way, then yes, that's like the contrary to what I was saying before, is that ultimately what it comes down to is that customer experience, and then we give that back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which does feel great.
They're going to come back if you treat them well, man.
Yeah.
If you're front of house staff, either the two doormen who sit at the front of your club arguably are the two most important people at that point within the club. Yeah. Because they're your invite. They're the people who can either help bring people in, or in the flip of a switch, turn people away. Yeah. I'm not really sort of scary looking guy or anything, but I've always been reasonably good at being able to talk to people and sort of find a middle ground that you aren't getting in, but if you want to go somewhere, I can't sort of have to write you where you need to go. But main important skill we always look for in the door is, I don't really care if he can fight. I don't really care if he's been a judo master for the back end of fucking nowhere for years and he's got the great credentials. If he's willing to dive in and save me when I need it, and if he's willing to dive in and save everybody else when we need it, he's totally down, man.
But yeah,
he'll get a second shift. Because
it's also about talking them down as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what it is most importantly. So yeah, I mean, as I keep saying, so yeah. I mean, it's so yeah, or I mean, so is my fucking tagline.
Try living with you.
Yeah, my twin was saying, "Fuck you." My twin was saying it already, and then you've got your class slogan. So I feel like I need to fucking do that.
That's that googly muggly.
Googly muggly.
Stolen directly.
I know, right?
That's a good point.
But yeah, so then what's the? There you go. So what's the worst scenario you've had? Say, let's look at it. Say, so where you felt like you weren't backed up,
right? And
then one you feel like you handled the best.
Wow. First one, it's got to be, I got a radio call for a girl in a booth with two lads beside her. And this is where I felt as if I was let down, to be fair. This person knows exactly who they are. It's not anything bad, I just found it quite hilarious, to be fair. Now, she was making some weird faces, some weird gestures with these two guys. Now, she could have been having a seizure.
Is this that Sukalamink story?
It could be Sukalamink.
See how I got that in there? I like
nice.
That. Fucking love it.
When I went over, she was sweating, so I thought she might have been dancing. Makes sense. Either that or she's just came out of a seizure of some sort.
Yep.
And the next thing, she's looking up at the sky and she's giving it the...
Oh,
but the two guys who are one aside only have one arm in show. Also, they have this sort of look in their face. If I do it to the camera, it's like, if me and you're beside it, they have this sort of look like as I'm walking over. To cut a long story short, she was being finger banged like you wouldn't believe with these two guys. Now, all I got from my fellow colleague was, "You're fucking dealing with that shit." I'm like, why do I get the birds that are getting fingered? What's that about me, man? These two guys are pile driving fucking 4 a piece in, man. She's loving it. I didn't want to break it up because I didn't want to feel really bad, so I had to go up to the table and say, like,
she didn't want to ruin it.
I didn't want to ruin the experience. You know what I mean? She's got to have something to tell her mum when she's older.
Oh,
but I had to go over, man. I'm like, look, guys,
I need another drink.
You can't finger a bird in a booth in here. You just have to go. And if you don't mind, I don't want to fucking shake your hand either. I've never seen a girl look disappointed like that in my life, man. She was either close to a tear colour or she was just loving the experience, but it was that look that... As you know, it's like...
Were they?
Just
Was
loving
it,
life.
was it one front, one back, or were they holding hands at,
No,
at the front?
Mate, they were. If it was me and you fingering Dara, we were both like this.
Oh God!
Look, and she's giving the.
Was
head
I touching
movement.
swords?
Oh man!
Was it iPhone like?
No, she was like a great white jumping out the sea like, like mouth full and everything. She was
Good
loving
old
it.
Bruce A.
But another situation which was quite funny. I told this situation a few times. I felt as if I dealt with this quite good.
I think so.
We had to. Backstory is I had diarrhea.
Perfect.
This is backstory. Don't know how you keep going with a story like that, but there was a rather large gentleman that had to be put out. And
Is
I
that,
thought,
is that a euphemism for something? A large gentleman leaving the trouser area.
I tried to grab onto his back, and as I pulled him, I sharted a wee bit. But being with the diarrhea, it wasn't exactly a shart. This thing blasted my back passage like you wouldn't believe, man. It was ridiculous. So I ended up putting
Like
him down
Women's
the stairs.
Liberation Day.
But the bit that I felt I dealt with well is I managed to get back up the stairs and into the toilet and get everybody out of the toilet so I could wash my arsehole in the sink. Because last thing you want to be doing is putting more people out with a shitty arse. But then you have the whole issue of having to take
Because, I mean,
your shitty
they're
nipples,
never going
man.
to notice.
They're never going to know, but
You just stuffed them down the fucking the back of the
it
toilet.
was fucking stinking, man. But not even in a good way. But I thought I
Aye.
dealt with that situation. Managed to wash myself, get myself ready. He was out. 2.5 hours later of a shift, you go home and you're fine, man. Nobody knows about it until now.
Nobody
Every cunt fucking knows about it.
Alright.
Who gives a shit? It happens to us all. There's a few situations I dealt with okay, then there was situations that I didn't deal with good. There's times when I've lost my patience, I think, when I shouldn't. It tends to be with rather irate women looking for the, where's my boyfriend?
Right, so, okay,
Yeah.
here is the flip side of that conversation.
Just don't shit yourself.
Exactly, number one. But number two, it definitely clears the room.
Okay.
But if you are a male bouncer and you have a female situation, not as in they're quite aggressive, they're whatever, you don't have a female bouncer. Because remember, in the last 10 years, we probably never had, really.
It's very hard to come across a female, one who wants to do the job and two who's,
Exactly.
I know this sounds quite dirty, but who's good enough to do the job. It's a very male characteristic, dominant job. So you need a woman who's willing to jump in when it gets bad.
So what's the protocol there? Because obviously you can't go around fucking Ryan Philippe way they go on and punch fucking nose. That's
Sounds crazy, but see when two guys are at each other, you send the woman in first. Psychological.
Well, no, I get that because when
Men
we
either
were
go
saying,
crazy
for
or
example,
they
a
go.
bar experience we had where we had a couple of not so pleasant people in. If my boss and I went in and said that, say you weren't getting served, saying this wasn't happening, we were definitely going to have a war on and probably get our fucking heads kicked in.
Yes.
Whereas if a female said it, it's a different type of experience for them because then it causes them to second guess themselves more. Like it's that
They're not as
thing
irate.
of, oh holy shit, she's saying it to me.
Yeah.
Rather than this prick over here is eyeballing me.
It's not just
For the
like,
last
if you
fucking
come up
20
as a
minutes.
team of doormen, I know if I was surrounded before guys, the first thing I'd be thinking was, the fuck is happening here, man? But if you're surrounded by just one woman come up and say to it, come to me and just have a conversation about it. We'll have a conversation outside. That tends to be the best line for most doormen. So if you hear that often, you know you're going outside. We'll talk about it at the front door part, because then when you get to the front door, you're out. It's gone. The job's done, so it's case like you're not getting
So,
back in. But women tend to be really fucking good at that.
When it comes to that stage, would it be more of it kind of goes, it's weird, it's a difficult one because it goes hand in hand, but obviously you see it's a female bouncer.
Yeah.
So that's a gender issue.
Mm.
However, it's more so of the mental issue, is it not? Of how you...
Most female stewards who are good at it, I hate to say it, are very manly. I know that sounds crazy, but a good female steward I know, she knows exactly who she is. She
points to the camera, just
Yeah.
in case.
You know,
She didn't
'cause you
know.
you're watching.
Pontificating.
She'll swing with any guy, never mind any woman. So she's down for putting anyone out at any time. She's been a very good steward for a lot of years, so that's why I enjoy working with her. Maybe that's slightly sexist, I suppose, but I want to work with a guy in the door. I don't want to be working with a woman all the time, mainly because I don't want to be worrying. Like, if I'm in and there's a fight happening with 4 or 5 guys, I don't want to be worrying about her getting the shit kicked out of her. And then having to worry about her and take all these guys out as well. But if you have a female on your team, if you're working with 5 or 6 people, she's going to fit in perfect if she's good at the job.
But wouldn't another guy get his fucking head kicked in as well, though?
Totally, yeah, but I think there's, when you're the gender, which is 50% more in testosterone and bigger build, it could be a shite bag, but really if you've got a good guy in the door, he's not going to be.
Yeah, so what it comes down to again is like there's the old, but it's also a pre-existing conversation of it comes down to biology and science in that sense.
Totally, yeah. But if you have a female shoot who's working with, like, the girl that I'm talking about, I'd have picked her over like 3/4 of the men I've ever worked with.
Oh no, I totally get that.
She is totally down for everything. When she says you're not coming in, I don't care what you do, you're not coming in. She's a fucking savage when she's at it. But that's the type of person I can trust. Yeah, she's a total savage, man. She did work with us round the road as well. She's fucking awesome at it. I've not met anybody who's worked with her that doesn't like it. That doesn't like to be working with her. She's fucking awesome, man. Yeah. She really is good. But I'm very picky. No,
of course, and right. So
you've got to meet certain criteria.
So what's been your best and worst experience in hospitality so far?
Tell us about your shit story.
Yeah, so so I was back when I was the bar. Back the bar that I used to manage down here. I was working behind the bar, and to give you a bit of pretext to what happens usually during the week, there was one person on the bar and there was one person doing the floor, so running the drinks, doing the waiter and stuff like that, right? So I was working on the bar, and one of my good friends was working on the other side doing the floor, and all of a sudden, I'm in the way the bar sits, the toilet, the male toilet is in direct eye line, like the door anyway. We didn't have see-through doors into the lassies' toilets, but I could just see like a black trail coming out, and I was like, what the fuck is that? It took me a while to figure, because it was quite dark, it was later on, so it took me a while to figure out what it was, and I realised that, it's water, because it got to the front of the bar, and that's at least a good 10 foot, so I'm like, I couldn't leave the bar obviously, so I said, my colleague on the floor, I was like, go check that out, and he comes back out, and he has a look of fear on his face, like he'd just seen a ghost. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he was like, somebody's blocked the toilet. And I was like, alright. Like, somebody's put too much toilet roll down it? No. Somebody's blocked the toilet with an absolute stone cold tolly.
Explain to non-Scottish people what tolly is.
Big poo. Breaching the surface.
Solid shite.
Yeah.
Solid poo.
Yeah. Like a shark's fin. It was absolutely massive.
Look big in this.
Aye. Not fun at all. So I'm like, well, we need to do something about it. And it was like, it was quite quiet at the time, so he could be dealing with it, and I could just do both sections. So he was like, right, fine. So he goes in, he keeps trying to flush it, and nothing's happening. No give at all.
He's a pixel.
So he comes back out again, even more worried. Like, what do I do? And I was like, I don't know, like try and push it down with something. He's like, cool. So we have these black dustpan and shovels, and both the pan and the brush have like a wee a hole at the top. That's important to the story. By the way, there's a hole at the top, so you can hang it on like a hook. So he's like, alright, I've got this will be good. Branches it like it's a sword. And I was like, aye, that's great. So he runs in and just starts going at it, jabbing it, going right at it, and it's still no give.
Jab the beast.
But he pulls the brush back out, and the hole is filled with shite. So now we're no further forward with the poo situation.
Literally.
And he's now got a big thing of shite. So we're at a loss. We're like, what the fuck do we do? So our manager at the time was quite a man's man. He's always wanted to be the guy that gets things done, right? Which is great for this situation. Big South African boy, great for this situation. So he goes in. He comes. He goes in, assesses the situation, walks back out, and then comes back with a roll of bin bags.
Oh no!
So he goes into the cubicle, double bags it, his hands, and then he goes in.
Picks up again. Picks
it out. Doesn't break apart. It's still solid. King Kong's finger.
Jobby tackles.
And bear in mind, I'm seeing all this happen outside the toilet, so I'm not and I just see him walking out like a baby, walking through the restaurant carrying this big massive shite. Because he had to dispose it out the back. Oh, it was the funniest experience of my life for somebody that didn't have to deal with it. It was fucking magic.
See your mouth wetting up.
Yeah.
That's...
You just love the shite talk.
They will never not be funny.
And nicely done. Beforehand I was crying at laughter, now I'm just crying at sheer
We're a cultured bunch.
disgust.
You just watched a guy pick up shit and I shit myself.
Yeah, I know, right? Fuck. I did have, I mean, there's been numerous times where I've gone into toilets and there's been that smell. And,
you look like the type of freaky guy that likes a dump in his chest.
No.
You look like that type of guy.
I'm not into that. I'm not.
I bet he does.
I mean, you know all the terminology for it, but I'm not into that type of mixology. I just,
A big steamer right in your chest.
Cleveland steamer. Cold tenacious D.
Your lips are getting
Getting
wet.
all the quotes in.
I'm excited.
Are they? Really?
His lips are getting wet.
Yeah. I mean, it's warm in here, maybe he's sweating a lot.
Just thinking about that big one in your chest.
This has gone to a whole new level of depravity. Yeah. So I think we'll move on.
Just now leads us into the favourite part of the evening.
So obviously Kieran is a first guest and premier guest. He's bringing a premier tasting experience.
Yes.
So let's show us what you've got there, good buddy.
So as Dara said, first guess. I thought I'd bring something along. It's something. This has been one of the things. This is one of my kind of white whales. I've always kind of wanted this bottle.
Moby Dicks.
Yeah, absolutely.
You love all the dicks.
Brilliant. I've always kind of wanted this bottle, and I recently got a hold of it, and I've still not tried it yet. And I thought we'd save it for tonight.
Right, just in time.
So we're all gonna, exactly. We got it like Friday, right?
Yeah,
it was Friday. So I thought we'd try it. So it's an Edinburgh-based whiskey maker called Compass Box. What they do is they're not a distillery, but they make blended malts, different from typically blended whiskies. Blended whiskey, the differentiation to not bore you too much. Blended whiskey has a high grain content. That's why it's cheap. Mm-hmm. Grain whiskey is easy to make. Single malts are obviously just malted barley. So that's why they're typically more expensive. So this is a blended malt, so it only uses malt whiskey, but it's from different distilleries. So it's a limited edition. I'm not sure how many bottles they did when they brought it out, but you can't get a hold of it anymore. Wow. You can only buy it at auction. As of when we're recording this, I checked. Last whiskey auction is sold for $220.
Whoa!
Jesus!
What?
Yeah, so we're pretty lucky to get a hold of it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I got a hold of it already opened, so I mean, I would have drank it anyway. I'm not the kind of person that keeps whiskey. Whiskey's made to be drank, I think.
Yeah. God, it's already got me celebrating.
Yeah. So it's 49%. So it's fucking. It's big juice.
It'll light your fires.
But
that's something else you got just.
Warm me up.
Yeah, just one more glass. It's alright.
Notice it's not with ice, which is the right way to drink a whiskey.
Sure. I think.
He's doubling up.
Yeah, I didn't pour it all. So it's a combination of.
Let's just get a good shot of that there. Just so
of first and second fill sherry cask. So we'll have a wee nose.
So what is it? What is it like? What's the makeup of it?
It's just I can't remember if they go too much into detail about what distilleries they're actually from, but it's first fill and second fill sherry cask. So I think it's not peaty at all. It smells.
Oh, there's a bit of there's
very
vanilla.
Yeah, like dates, Christmas cake.
Yes,
big
absolutely.
Loads of dried fruit, but anyway, bottoms up.
Right, staunch it.
Cheers.
Slangy indeed.
Ooh.
Do you know what? For close to 50%.
Wow, that's quite soft.
It's actually, I thought I was going to blow my ear off.
Yeah. Blew his head off.
You tan that.
You fucking idiots. You're not meant to tan it.
Should have told me.
We apologise for our uneducated
so delicious.
friends.
It's actually delicious.
That's really nice. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah. This guy's going to work his way down to the fucking bottle at this stage.
Why not?
Sure.
That's glorious.
It's good stuff, yeah. I think it's done a good job there.
Very nice, man. Nice bottle too.
Yeah, I loved the design on it. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
So how long did you say they were going for? Did you know?
I don't know how long they had that run. So they have their core range. I think they've got like 6 in total of their core range, which run throughout all the time. But then they bring out these limited runs as well.
Yeah,
and I think they'll probably run them for just until they're gone, pretty much.
Makes sense.
But they're quite an interesting company in terms of they're quite brave in their marketing and quite brave in their strategies, and they're always interested about pushing the boat out rather than just being your traditional whiskey maker and kind of conforming to.
Fucking love the label.
It's about trying to get younger drinkers, and I think whiskey's always been a bit of a contentious subject, especially here in Scotland. Yeah, exactly. It's always the same age group that drinks whiskey, and it's so funny. It's the fact that I'll always tell everybody is that you can get a bottle of whiskey that's made on our doorstep cheaper in France than you can get over here. Why
that's what I'm saying. Do you not think like Scotland is overly aggressive with their whiskey?
Of course it is. It's
staunchly. I mean, rightly so because they've got so many great ones. But they're very staunchly defensive of it,
and they tell people how to drink it, and they your dad will try and get you into whiskey, your uncle or bartender will try and get you into whiskey, but they'll give you their favourite, which is going to be like a Refloyd. So you're going to try that and be like, I hate all whiskey now.
Yeah.
So
funny enough, I would always say that.
Yeah,
Talisker,
you can ease
but
people
I like
into
the
it as
peatier
well.
ones. Yeah, of course.
Another kind of slightly off topic but interesting is the female palate tends to gravitate more towards the PT whiskey rather than the male.
I've absolutely seen that recently for sure.
Really interesting.
Yeah, very impressed with that too. It's always a win.
But I'm a big kind of. I love Scotch. I love all whiskey, but I love Scotch.
I love Scotch. Scotch.
But it's you just want to see people drink and enjoy, especially it's our national spirit. It's something to be proud of, but you shouldn't bully people into drinking it.
No, not
the way you think you should drink it, and kind of create this stigma, because that's what scares people away.
It's like there was always a wee bit of water.
Yeah. Some people go half and half with that in the water, or like 2 cubes of ice, 1 cube of ice. But I think that for me, what's lost on it, and this is again, which is actually a good, I guess, if footnotes the right words, go back into the way we talked about mixology and stuff at the start. We're able to come in full circle with this is that the reason why we go for a drink, the reason why we have a drink is to meet people, have our conversations, catch up. I know that's more olden days type scenario with it, but you find that again, it comes full circle when you get older. You just want to chill out and have a good drink, have your conversations. And whiskey is a conversational drink. You don't like do there
don't be a fucking
naked.
Wanker, just naked. I like to get a full,
no, but you sit
full experience.
You sit there, you get the full taste of it. You maybe have something to go side by side with it. Like for example, I would say that with a peatier one, I would go for like a rum cask as a gun, which is no longer, as you're saying, in production. You can still, I guess, buy it, but stuff like that. Just if you've something that accompanies it, complements it. But you're sitting there having a conversation, and for a lot of people, for me growing up, and a lot of people your age, it's, especially in this area, because of the limited resources we have for maybe entertainment and otherwise, if that's the correct words, it's tends to be like more speed drinking and going out getting fucked up instead of just going and enjoying a drink and
double vodka
and having a drink. So so when you get to a cocktail bar, local cocktail bar, it's less about the experience of that cocktail and enjoying that cocktail. It's more, give me that fucking cocktail, the strongest one you fucking got, and I get fucked up.
Yeah.
I think it's important to find the balance though, because don't get me wrong, I'll go out on a Friday after work and drink as many tenants as I can. One, because I loved it, and two, because it's cheap. But you've got to have those moments as well, like we're talking about, where you can just sit there and enjoy the whiskey and enjoy the company. I think whiskey is great for that because it's such a fiercely regulated product in terms of you can only make it according to the Scottish Whisky Association. There's so many laws surrounding it, and quite rightfully so, because it's such an ancient part of our history. But what that does is it makes distilleries and whiskey makers like Compass Box, it provides them an avenue to work with a select, like they can only work with, you can only use water, malted barley and wood
Yeah.
and yeast, obviously. Those are the only things you can use, but it's playing with those very minimal ingredients and finding the new ways of creating a taste from pretty much nothing is where you develop this story.
So you're probably better at breaking down, like, say, the chemical makeup and the process of the distillation of whiskey, because there's a process of everything. So and the reason why he talks about like the cask and the water and stuff like that, and the bar, there's a certain method to it to make every single one taste that way. And it's to the region as well, like Ireland, Speyside, and stuff like that. And back in Ireland as well, of course, too. So, I mean, if you want to, for people who aren't familiarised with it, but also, Mark, if you want to explain.
Sure, I think just because it can get quite fucking stuffy and boring.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
Just as the kind of layman's guide. So you have barley. You want to start the malting process. So what you do is you get it, you steep it in a little bit of water so it starts to germinate, but you want to stop that. You don't want it to turn into a plant because then that plant's going to use all the sugars that you need. Yeah. So you stop that process by heating it, and this is how you sometimes get peated whiskey, where the peat is obviously like dead animals and stuff like that, like fossils and shit. And luckily we've got loads of it in Scotland. It's kind of like a compost kind of thing, but people used to burn that, and then the smoke would dry out the barley and stop that germination process, but also flavour the barley with the smoke as well. So that's where the peat comes from. So once you've got that, you need yeast to react with the sugars in the malted barley, and that creates alcohol, mainly, first and foremost, carbon dioxide as well, and congeners, which is like flavour profile pretty much. So you start the distillation process, which can get a bit. Well, basically, you first need to make a beer with malted barley. It's pretty much beer, and then you want to distill that beer, which is obviously boiling it to a certain temperature. Water boils at a higher temperature than alcohol. So I think alcohol is like 93 degrees. So obviously the vapours are going to rise, but the water is going to stay. So you're going to have all that alcohol content, and then that's going to evaporate, and then it's going to condense at the top of the still, and then it's going to come back down the other side, and it's going to be the spirit. So you're going to have this beer, which was about 8%, it's going to go up to about 22%. You distill it again, and it'll go all the way up to 80. Jesus. So at that point, you've got your alcohol. At this point, it's not whiskey because it needs to be aged for a minimum of 3 years, and 1 day. In European oak. After this point, so you've got this, we call it new make spirit, different countries call it eau de vie, and how do the Irish call it? So you've got this spirit, and then you want to cut it down with water, so you bring it down to typically 40%, but this is slightly higher. Different reasons for that. Some people want more taste of the alcohol. The more you dilute it, the less taste you get from the actual whiskey characteristics. And then you put it into European oak, which can't be over 500 litres in size, but it can be smaller. And then you mature it for 3 years and 1 day minimum. But obviously most distilleries will do it to probably about 10 or 8. You hardly ever see 8. But yeah.
So moving forward with whiskey, though, I mean, there's a lot of new different markets with whiskey. I think the best thing about whiskey, though, is that it's always a place or a drink that you're not moving into a fad with whiskey. You're moving into something that's helping whiskey develop more and more. The perfect example for me is what we have talked about before. And you see every person asking now for, say, like a pink gin.
Sure.
I mean, there's so much that has been going on with gin. However, again, like flavoured vodka, that's going to go. Yeah. But with whiskey, you've got like Japanese whiskey, which is come on, leaps and bounds.
Yeah. So I think you're totally right. I think the way that market trends and kind of general drinking tends to work is there'll be something that's popular, and then that'll be the biggest thing since sliced bread for like whoever knows how long.
2 years.
It'll die
Max.
out, and then it'll go on to something else.
Yeah.
So you saw it. You saw it with vodka in the 90s up until probably early 2000s.
Yeah.
You saw it happen with rum, early 2000s to maybe about 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
And that was the rise of like the tiki bars and
Right.
just people just having fun and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing it with, you're seeing it with gin now, probably since then until now.
Yeah.
It's starting to peter out a little bit in bigger places, but gin's still the biggest thing. And even now,
But
it's
again,
not,
though, it goes back to what we talked about earlier on. It goes back to the colour.
sure,
Like,
Yeah.
say, for example, I mean, the Edinburgh gin stuff we talk about, when you go into the flavoured ones of them, it's a liqueur, it's not a gin.
yeah. I think that's the funny thing though, because we talked about it in terms of like flavored vodka in like early 2000s as well. It was like really popular, and I still
Pink,
go
orange.
into some of my bars and there's like
Oh my!
10 flavored vodkas just sitting in the back
Yeah.
that they've had since they were popular.
Never been used.
That's
All
crazy,
these
man.
fucking mental flavors, but it's the exact same things happening now with gin. Like, because at the end of the day, gin is just juniper flavored vodka. That's all it is.
I see.
Obviously, it's made. It's made the exact same way, except from you just basically infuse it with different botanicals. And don't get me wrong, I quite like gin, and I think there's some really interesting and good ones on the market. But what you've got now is you've got things like pink gin and like flavoured rhubarb gin and all that kind of stuff, which don't taste like gin at all.
No.
But people don't want the taste of gin; they just want to be seen drinking gin.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. It's really smart from the brands, to be honest.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Gin always reminds me of something your gran would drink now.
Well, that's why nobody drank it, and everybody's like, "Oh, like
Get your gran a gin
I'm not drinking. I'm not
High
drinking
heels
gin."
off and crying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of these kind of like old
Hashtags.
women drink, but like
Oh my god.
it was Hendrix that first started it.
Yeah.
Hendrix started the movement of gin can be fun and it doesn't have to be this kind of super serious, horrible, rough tasting paint stripper. It can be like something
Exactly,
that
yeah.
doesn't typically taste like gin, and you can put a cucumber in it, and people went, "Wow, this is cool."
Revolution.
And then everybody jumped on that bandwagon, so now
Yeah.
we've got like 3,000 gins, like fucking.
I know.
expensive.
I think for me, personally speaking, I never drank gin, but I never had drank gin or something I'd go for. But I've had it once or twice, say, on a long session. But it's been one of those ones because you drink really
Aye, when it's the only
heavy.
thing left at a
Yeah.
gaff.
Yeah, no,
We've
no,
got,
not that. No.
Gin
Well,
and
maybe,
rosy
but-
wine. Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
that's fine. That's a good
Gin in
cocktail.
half a bottle.
But no, but
What
it's
you want?
something that's lighter than what you would normally go.
Sure,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So you're going, oh, this is refreshing, whatever. But other than that, it's like, nah, never touch it.
Just smash though, you'll fucking drink anything. No.
But
So
I think what we're talking about is whiskey. It's one of those things that I don't think will ever be the it thing. I don't think it'll ever I don't know if anything will ever see the boom that gin had
Well, what's that again?
recently. I don't think that will happen. Like, people are thinking the next thing is going to be rum or tequila or maybe bourbon. Who knows? But
Well,
I don't think whiskey will be that. But the good thing about whiskey is it sits in its own category, and
of course.
it can't really just be a fad. But
So, this is sorry to break up conversation just because what we were talking about whiskey and talking about the future of it. I presumed more world whiskies would come up, but I've got here the 8 best value blended Scotch whiskies to buy right now. And interestingly, this one we talked about the other night. So your number 1 is Grand Old Par, 12 year. But 2 is Dimple Pinch, which I've never heard of. Have you?
I have no idea.
No, but the Monkey Shoulder is right there. And that's
Monkey
number
Shoulder.
3. And we talked about a Monkey Shoulder the last time.
Yes, I think Monkey Shoulder is.
That number 3.
It's one of those things that they've kind of positioned themselves
Space
really
Side.
well. Yeah, so it's a blended malt. So again, it only uses 4 malts, and I think one of them's Glenfiddich, one of them's Balvenie.
Balvenie and Kilkenny.
And then the other one, I don't think they announce.
No, they're
no,
not,
yours
it's
is
not
3.
even here. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there you go.
3 just here just now.
But they position themselves quite well, kind of in the way that Hendrix have done it, where they've kind of brought out this whiskey, but they've made it cool. It's not in a traditional whiskey bottle shape like this.
Yeah.
It stands out the back bar.
Nice bottle.
You've seen
yeah.
it because it's. I think I have it.
And everything they do, marketing wise, and kind of just everything, the way that they carry themselves,
Yeah. It's contemporary.
It's very modern, and
it's a good mix in whiskey as well.
Yeah, exactly, and that's they'll position themselves in where you can drink it neat. It's actually really nice and neat, but they do some really cool cocktails, like a monkey shoulder old fashioned, and like a monkey shoulder and cloudy apple juice and all this kind of stuff. And that's definitely where the market should be heading, and is heading for whiskey just now. They need to target the young audience because your old bartender at your local, your dad and your uncle, these people are going to move on. They're going to die off.
I want to try that.
And you're going to be left with people who don't know anything about whiskey. So, which is good because you've got a blank canvas. Like we were talking about, the French and the Japanese, they drink whiskey how they want to be drank. The Japanese drink whiskey mainly in highball style drinks, so a tall glass, loads of ice, and then topped up with some sort of mixer, usually sparkling. So like whiskey soda is huge.
What's one? Is it Yamazaki and Haibuki?
Yeah.
Haibuki?
Well, like they drink Kalila and coconut water, which sounds weird, but it's fucking magic.
I like this story.
So they just drink what they want to drink, and they don't let anybody tell them, and that's why it's one of the biggest markets in the world. Same with the French.
The quickest growing market of whiskey in the world.
Why is there such a stigma attached to how you drink your whiskey?
It's because it comes from the fact that whiskey's
it's
always
heritage.
been looked as a premium, and if you pay money, like you should drink it a specific way, and it also comes back from like heritage as well. So like people's one heritage in terms of like it's got such
your
a
dad would say drink it this way, and you're like
his dad would tell him, and all that.
Takes 2 cubes at least, you're taking 3. You're ruining his name. So
but it's like for me, it's like I know, a lot of people that tend to drink whiskey are a people or a personality, like I said earlier on, that definitely know how they want to drink it and why. Like we're drinking whiskey tonight, or I would have a whiskey in any other venue, is because or any other place, no matter what time it is, I want to sit down and have that drink and enjoy it and talk with my friends or my peers or whatever with it. So for me, that's the association I have with that. And also maybe probably only once or twice I would have a stiff drink like that. Pardon the pun. But with my father, I know my dad would drink a whiskey and my dad would drink a whiskey neat. So I'd sit down, and of course you try it because you want to know what it tastes like, and you want to, you know what I mean. It's kind of like, sounds really archaic, but it's the whole like manly way of drinking something.
Sure.
But like you said earlier on, there's lots of ladies now who have a much better palate.
Yep.
And absolutely, like they're fantastic the way they drink whiskey and the knowledge type of whiskey as well. But which is cool because it's evolving in that way and it's more inclusive. But there still is that kind of older heritage to it.
Yeah.
Which is why for me it's great that like say Asian cultures like Japan and stuff that are getting into it, because these are a culture that are specifically bred on heritage. So whatever they're going to bring into that making process of a whiskey and bring it forward or anything else, it's going to be, you know, with a lot of like care and attention and you know what I mean, a thought to it. So yeah, it's as much as we have so many great whiskeys specifically over here and in, I would say in Ireland as well, because there's a lot that's unheard of on this even here and further on. It's great to have this much wider market now of whiskey. I guess I took the long way around there, but do you guys have any personal stories to tell with regards? I guess it sounds maybe ridiculous, but we're drinking stuff. I mean, we all have, I guess, what's have experiences.
See, when I was younger, it was my grandpa, which was really fucking young at that point, but every night before I went to my bed, it was always a froth off the top of his beer and just a tiny sip of whiskey. And I can even remember for those days, man, how much it fucking pumped all the way down. But
yeah,
that's
why you twitched.
Yeah, but he would sit every single night with just a can. I think it was a Sweetheart Stout or something he used to drink. Can of that. And a wee whiskey before he went to his bed every night. It's good fond memories of it though. Really fond memories. Enjoy it.
I think my kind of fond memories are fairly
me.
Yeah,
it's always me.
Fairly kind of less atypical, or where everybody seems to have these like kind of parents or granddad stories, which I'd never had that. It just wasn't really a big thing in my family. Just any kind of drinking, and then that came along and totally fucked it for everyone. But no, me more so the fact just in a kind of really wanky and sentimental way, but truthful is whiskey, and also any spirit that I work with, and where the whole trade has led me. It's been great, and the people that I've met along the way, and the experiences that I've had. It's one of those things that it is just, it's as we're doing right now, as we're going to do in the future, as everybody's done. It's such a bonding thing, and it just everybody's got kind of a past, but if you've got a bottle of whiskey in front of you, everything disappears, and you just have a good chat and have a bit of fun, isn't it? So
you know you're getting old when you appreciate a whiskey and a good coffee.
Oh, fucking
that's when you're getting old, man.
Absolutely, coffee's not a fucking conversation.
Man, that's a serious conversation for coffee.
It's just got all political these days.
I know.
But so that was great. Thanks very much to Kieran as our first guest. I think we leave it there.
Kick-ass
That's
booze
been absolutely fantastic.
It's nice to see someone with a fellow shit story.
Yeah, that's great. Man. So comments below, subscribe, hit the like button, and follow. Go from there. And thanks very much, and we'll definitely all see you again sometime. Sláinte.
Sláinte indeed.
Way.
Mummy.